Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Hey, I'm ready to 10X another day, 10X another week, 10X a month, 10X another year, y'all. And I know y'all are too. You are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Ferriell here, 10X certified coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. So, hey, a couple of great guests today. Mr. Holden Houston from Houston Insurance Agency. Great story about how he started actually in door-to-door sales and then how he has built his business through education and serving clients. So a lot of great things to learn from him. We are also debuting a brand new segment today called the Wellness Upgrade. Any of y'all that have been listening to the show for a while or may know me personally know that I take my health and wellness very seriously. It is one of my passions. So want to bring some of these strategies, these natural health and wellness strategies to y'all every single week. And we're bringing back Dr. Samantha Wagner from Wagner Chiropractic. She was with us about a month and a half ago, a full episode on the show, and she was phenomenal. She is a wealth of knowledge. Looking forward to each week getting into some specific things on what you can do to upgrade and elevate your health and wellness. As always, we want to thank our friends over at Custom Property Solutions, Brandon and his team. If you have anything land related, whether it's land clearing, landscaping, hardscaping, or simple lawn care, hey, give them a shout. They're going to take care of you with precision and passion. Head over to Custom Property Solutions LLC.com. Hey, we're going to be right back after the break with Holden.
Custom Property Solutions transforms land and outdoor spaces throughout Central Illinois with precision and passion. From clearing overgrown brush to crafting stunning patios and fire pits. Need expert lawn care, excavation, or fence row clearing? They've got you covered safely, efficiently, and on budget. Fully insured and satisfaction guaranteed. Visit Custom Property Solutions LLC.com today, where your land meets their passion.
And we are back. Joining me in the studio right now, Mr. Holden Houston from Houston Insurance Agency. Holden, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, appreciate you spending some time with me. Excited to learn a little more about your agency, but before we do that, let's learn about Holden. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm here locally. I grew up in Rochester, so I went to school in Rochester. I graduated in 2012 and went to the University of Missouri. I had a son pretty early in life. So at 18, I had a child and I had to move back. Started working at Menards. It was the best thing I could find at the time.
Sure.
And then just by chance, someone approached me with this whole insurance thing, and I had nothing better to do at that time, and I needed to provide something, and Menards just wasn't doing it. So I took a leap of faith and went full into the insurance industry.
Awesome. So you've been doing it ever since you were 18, 19, 20?
Well, yeah, I think I was 21. So I started in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I didn't know any better.
Sure.
And it's funny because if you ask any insurance person how they got into the industry, it's usually just by chance. But in 2015, I started selling cancer, heart, and accident insurance door to door. Staying in a hotel Monday through Thursday. That was fun, and I learned a lot, but it got old after a while.
I was going to say, how difficult is that? People that haven't done the door-to-door sales like that don't realize how difficult that can be, right?
It's incredible because not only did I sell door-to-door, I trained multiple sales teams. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do, to go knock on 100 doors a day and to be okay with having 2 people say yes out of 100.
Right.
And not only that, you might have no one and you have to wake up and do it again tomorrow. So it definitely built character. I was 21 years old. And the people that I met along the way doing door to door sales, we mostly did out in the country to farmers.
Sure.
The knowledge I gained at such a young age was amazing.
Bet. So what you're coming up to that door to door strategy, you're going up to somebody's house, they don't know you're coming. What do you strategies you use when you knock on that door? What's next,
I
man?
mean, it's rough. I mean, so I got pretty good at it, but basically, you would have an icebreaker, and like after a while, it gets weird because you're like, I don't really want to show up to strangers' doors. But in the beginning, I mean, you just walk up and you start having a conversation with the person. We do a lot of business out in the country, so and everybody's related to everybody. So word of mouth, referral, but it's just basically a script. I have information. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. Do you have time now?
Mhm.
And if you do, let's go inside and talk. And if not, I'll be back later today when your husband's home. And I was like robotic to me. And because I had to train other agents how to do it, the craziest part was the script was so scientific. It was down to a T. And if you stuck to the script, it worked every time. But yeah, after a while, door to door sales gets old because you basically start over every day.
Every time, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And there's no way out really. If you get tired of knocking on doors, the only way to generate business is to keep knocking on doors. So yeah, I would encourage anybody to do door to door sales. Basically, it was like a boot camp for life, really.
Yeah, I bet.
To learn how to just keep taking rejection and to see put in so much effort and not see any results for a long time,
Mhm.
but then to see it all come to fruition. Yeah, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, no, like you said, to handle that rejection. I mean, to have essentially 2 out of 100 wins, like you said, two wins out of 100 tries, right? That's a lot of rejection you have to go through.
Yeah, and it's not just like, no, I don't want to talk to you. It's like, sometimes they have shotgun. There was
Yeah, like,
times
what are
where
you
they
doing
had
on my porch type of
shotguns,
thing, yeah.
and I couldn't blame them. And that's why I had so much success in door to door sales because I was just understanding of everybody. If somebody was upset that I was there, or just if in general I show up and they have an attitude with me, it's not me. They're just having a bad day.
Mhm.
But that took a long time to get that mindset
Sure.
because for the first 6 months, you knock on a door and maybe they say some bad things to you, you're angry and
Right.
and you try to understand why a person could be this upset with a person when they don't even know what you're doing, but just a bad day.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of people that haven't done sales don't realize the importance of scripts. It's not just door to door that it's important with, it's important in all selling, really.
Yeah, and that was a boot camp for sales in general because not only was it door to door, we set the appointments that day or that week, but then we also took the applications during that appointment. And there was no, we're going to be back or I'm in the area because I live here. I don't. We were staying in hotels. So it was either overcome the objections or you don't get a sale.
Right.
It was really, really fascinating.
Oh, I bet. What was the original plan when you went to Missouri, Columbia? I would imagine,
Yeah.
University of Missouri in Columbia. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So what did you originally want to do there?
A finance degree.
Mhm.
So I've always been interested in like the stock market and things like that. But in University of Missouri, it was 2012 when I went there. So it was the first year they went to the SEC.
Ah, yeah.
So I mean, it was an amazing time. But yeah, I had to come back and grow up pretty quick. So.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the next step after the door to door sales?
Yeah, so door to door sales was great until I stopped drinking alcohol in 2018, which was another whole story. At 24 years old, that was a tough decision to make.
Sure.
So those hotels, those Super 8s that we were staying in, started to get a little bit nastier.
Yeah.
That and then COVID, and then my daughter was born in 2019 as well. So I missed my daughter's birth because like I had to go stay in a hotel and
Mhm.
all that. So just the culmination of all that, I decided that it's just best to come back here, start a business here, and restart basically.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, the drinking and everything, was that part of kind of the culture of
Yeah.
of the crew kind of thing? You'd knock on doors all day and then you're
Y
drinking at
You
night.
gotta look forward to something. And I was 21 to maybe 25 or 26, but I had a team of 8 to 10 kids my age, my buddies, basically, and we were very successful for our age, so, we worked hard and we played hard as well. Luckily, I didn't get in any trouble or anything, but I just wanted to be more present, because I was already gone Monday through Thursday. And then when I got home, it's not time to continue to have fun. It's time to enjoy the time, appreciate the time you have with your family.
Yeah. So what were some of the
lessons you learned? You said you were kind of leading the team there at a young age. What were some of the lessons you learned in terms of leading a team?
Number one lesson is you can't care more than the person themselves. So you really have to find the person's why, and that's ultimately what I found was the easiest way to understand everybody. Was not everybody has the same why as me. Not everybody has a young child that they have to plan for college and cars and all kinds of stuff. So just to be able to find each person's why, especially at a young age, because the biggest worry of a 23-year-old is, I don't know, do I have enough to go out tonight?
Right. Yeah. Most of the time, they're not thinking about what their why is really.
So learning to draw that out of them and to remind them, hey, I know you're doing well, but this is what you actually want to achieve. And if you don't want to still achieve it, it's fine. But, this is the goal at hand.
No, that's pretty cool that you went through that goal setting process, because that would be valuable for them, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. Because not everybody learns that at a young age. Sometimes it takes them longer later on in life to figure out that why and figure out that goal setting and everything. So
Right.
that's pretty cool that you did that.
Yeah, and that was definitely the toughest part, and to understand that everybody's different too, because I'm a perfectionist, so I know my way worked. So to just learn to accept people do things differently, and there are different ways to be successful as well. You don't have to go out there and grind if you don't want to 10 hours a day. Just to be accepting of everybody's position that they're in.
Okay. So when did Houston Insurance Agency come about?
Yeah, so 2020, I made the leap of faith and I went independent. And so prior, I sold health insurance. It was only cancer, heart, and accident. I didn't do any actual health insurance. I didn't do Medicare. I didn't do any of that. So even though I had a tremendous background and knowledge of insurance and sales, learning this Medicare stuff and this health insurance stuff, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was an absolute nightmare. But that's what made me dig in even further, because I realized a person that had been selling insurance for 5 years, if I am having trouble understanding this, what is a 65-year-old senior that's never had to make a real health insurance decision in their life? How are they handling this? How are they finding the answers? If I can't find the answers, how are they? And luckily, I know what the right answer is. They don't. So I really dove into it, and it's been very, very fulfilling.
So how do you walk those clients through educating them on that?
Yeah, so we do a couple different approaches. So one of my favorite things to do is educational seminars. So I take an educational approach. And so at a lot of the local libraries like Athens, Pawnee, Rochester, New Berlin, Auburn, all over the place, I do these educational seminars for free. So it's nice because people turning 65 can come in and learn the nitty gritty of Medicare, not just the sales pitch, but the black and white, what's involved and what's not involved. And then they can decide if they want to do business with me afterwards. So it's nice to be able to see people's approach, their defense go down, and the relief to see on their face once they leave that seminar. So I definitely do an educational approach first. And then the nice thing is I represent a whole bunch of different carriers, all of them. And I tell people at the very beginning, what's best for you is best for me. If you want to go with a plan that I'm not advising you to go with, that's totally fine. Whereas before on the door-to-door, I just sold for one company.
That's what it was, yeah. So
Yeah, and I had to go in. My goal was to go in and sell this product no matter what. And at first, it was fine. But after a while, you're like, these people don't need more cancer insurance.
right. Yeah, you're able to tailor a much more individual plan for somebody right now.
Yeah, and so that was really awesome, because the problem with Medicare is there's a lot of sales, there's a lot of advertisement. I mean, you'll see commercials nonstop. People have plans that they don't even have any idea what they are, and there's a whole bunch of scam, there's a whole bunch of fraud. And then health insurance, on the other hand, from the marketplace, healthcare.gov, is even worse. And so I dove into that. First, I started with Medicare, and then I dove into the health insurance only for the simple fact that people were asking for advice, and I would look to refer it out to somebody that knows what they're talking about, but there was no one to refer it to. Yeah, I self-taught myself that too. And that's very fulfilling too, because that's, like I said, almost where you can get in a lot of tax trouble if you fill out the application wrong.
Yeah, no doubt about it. People get dinged bad on the back end of that.
And you don't know until you file your taxes.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of people that will sign up over the phone and they'll report their income, or the person signing them up will report their income for $35,000. Which will give them one price, but then when they go to file their taxes and they actually made $100,000, then they owe like $10,000 back,
Right,
and they can never find the person that signed them up.
right.
It's just constant stories. I love to help people solve a solution that they can't solve on their own.
Oh, I love
and
that.
it's not at any fault to themselves.
Mhm.
It's just there's no one educating.
Yeah. Those seminars you're doing, like you said, they're providing value to them, whether they do business with you or not. They're
Right.
providing a service to them, and they're getting value out of that regardless. So you said you started learning about those different things. What's the process for getting licensed to be able to sell all the Medicare products and all the different health insurance products?
Yeah, and that was another learning curve because before I just had to get contracted with one company. I
Mhm.
had to get my health license and I renew that every 2 years, and I got my life license, which I renew every 2 years. But then when I got into the Medicare stuff, there's even more certifications that go on top of that. So there's what's called the AHIP, which is about an 8-hour certification that I have to take every year. I have to take a FFM training for health insurance every year. And then on top of that, each different carrier that I represent, I have to take certifications for the changes in the
Oh,
plans
wow,
for the
okay.
following year. Um, so it's a lot, and
Mhm.
it changes so much every year.
Oh, I bet.
But
Yeah, I mean,
I
with
enjoy
different
it.
legislation comes out and
Yeah,
different rules and procedures that you have to follow and everything.
keeps
So,
things interesting.
yeah, I bet. I bet. So, tell us a little bit more about the Medicare products. Some people that aren't that age yet might not know what all is out there in that realm. So, tell us a little bit
Yeah.
more about that.
So just a little background. So, and a lot of people get Medicare and Medicaid mixed up. So I
Mhm.
kind of clarify that Medicaid is for lower income individuals and families. Medicare, you're eligible for when you turn 65. So at the age of 65, you have to sign up for Medicare. And this is another thing that people don't even know. They don't get notified that, hey, you need to sign up.
Right, right.
If you don't sign up, you get a penalty, but not, you don't realize it till way, way later. With the plans, there's Medicare supplements and there's Medicare Advantage. Medicare supplements are standardized. So every company offers the same Medicare supplement plans. They just charge a different price. Medicare Advantage is more so like what you think of health insurance, like Health Alliance, Aetna, Major Medical. They each have different benefits. They each have different networks of doctors who accept the plans and don't accept the plans, and they change every single year. So there's a lot more that goes into Medicare Advantage. And the thing is, Medicare Advantage is a more affordable route, but it's also a more complex route. So that's where people kind of get caught up.
So, what are the benefits of having those? Because it's like you have your Medicare, and then you
Yeah.
got those as kind of the sides on those, right? So,
Yeah, so Medicare in a roundabout way pays 80% of your medical, hospital and doctor bills. And then so you have 20% left over, which for most people, 20% left over is no different than your health insurance that you pay 20% co-insurance. So I run into people that just have original Medicare. What they don't realize is that 20% has no cap. So if you have a $10 million bill,
oh wow,
you owe
okay.
$2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because on a traditional health insurance plan, you're going to have a lifetime cap or an annual cap on what comes out, right? So,
Correct. So that's where these secondary plans come into play. So Medicare supplement picks up the whole 20%. It's really affordable. And there's no network. So you can go to whoever you want. There's no referrals. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want,
mhm.
wherever you want. And then Medicare Advantage, it covers the 20%, but you have co-payments, like similar to health insurance, as you know.
Okay. So pop back to your seminars that you do. I enjoy marketing and everything. So how do you market those events? How do you fill those rooms, man?
So, and I don't know if I'm doing it the right way with all the fancy advertisement nowadays, but I keep it old school. So, what I do is I get a list of people turning 65 in the next 6 months from, these different areas that I'm doing them in, mostly in rural communities. And it's a black and white flyer, a 4 square flyer that says free educational event. We'll talk about Medicare A and B, prescription drugs, Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage. And it's pretty black and white.
Mhm.
But people have their defense up. Once again, it's nice to be different, you know? And that's why I do them at a public library so people feel safer.
Right.
And the library endorses me too. But two, they get so much mail. When a person comes in to sit down with me to review their options, sometimes they'll bring their mail in for me
Mhm.
to sort through, and it's like stacks. So I keep it pretty black and white just so it separates. And I'll even hand write them sometimes.
And that definitely sets you apart right there because you don't get much handwritten stuff in the mail. So I mean, you get something handwritten like that, it's gonna, at least you're gonna look at it,
Right.
right? It doesn't get tossed to the side as quick, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, they're just getting flooded every single day, and it's nice. There's no unbiased information out there. Blue Cross will send you something about their plans, and then Humana will send you something that says something completely different that in regards to their plan.
Right.
The nice thing is they can come in and actually learn about everything involved so they can make an educated decision.
Mm-hmm. Well, using that strategy, though, you said it's more old school, or there might be new ones out there, but for your clientele, that might be the exact
Right.
thing that works great. You find it pretty successful for the
Yeah.
most part. I mean, get people in the room, right?
Yeah, it's nice to be able to go and spread the knowledge that I know, because that's the biggest thing is in any business is finding clients. But in my case, I want to spread this education to anybody and everybody. It's nice to be able to get a group of people in one room, rather than chasing them down individually just when they have problems,
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
And I also do seminars for the state of Illinois retiree program. And I do it for the state of Illinois state police retirees as well,
Oh, that's
and the
cool.
judicial system.
That's a big pool.
Yeah.
Right there. So
Yeah.
from all those seminars, do they comprise a large percentage of your incoming customers, you think?
Yeah, the majority. So especially at the beginning. So now I just work off word of mouth, but where the word of mouth is coming from is from all the seminars, because the trust that you gain, from having someone offering a free service, having somebody come in at their own will and deciding, hey, this guy's the right fit for me, and for this guy to follow through with everything he said. It's word of mouth, but all my customers came from seminars. Problem that you run into is there's only so many people turning 65 out in the country.
Sure, sure.
We did run into that problem as we were growing the agency, but we found other avenues as well.
Well, now when you're able to offer, regular health insurance too, that opens up your clientele base pretty wide, I guess.
Yeah, and that's basically why I got into the health insurance space too, because I'm like, I'm not gonna make the same mistake by going down one path.
Mm-hmm.
There was a need, and yeah, I dove into that, and now I do more health insurance than I do Medicare,
Okay. All right.
because there's still maybe one other person in town that does it.
Yeah. Well, then let's dive into that a little bit. So somebody, whether they've been to one of your seminars or whether they just say, "Hey, I need to go talk to Holden about insurance," they walk in, say, "Hey, I need health insurance." What's the process? What do you walk them through?
Yeah. So what I do, so first off, my services are free, and that really surprises people all the time. But basically, I go through an intake form. So I don't just jump into it and say, what's your income, who's your doctors or whatnot. I take a personable approach, like, what's your health like? What's your family, not just your health, but what was your mom and dad's health, family history, so that we can plan for the future. And then I'll go through their different options, and I'll narrow it down is essentially what I do. Because, when you're looking at a screen of 30 different options, it's very overwhelming. But say you put in your doctors and hospitals and only 2 plans accept the combination of both, well, that makes it really easy to decide. And then I'll just do, a cost comparison, a breakdown between the 2 of them. The tough part for me is it's their decision.
Sure.
And a lot of people ask me, what would you do? And I can give my advice. And I've done this long enough that I understand where people's mindsets are and whatnot. But that's the toughest part, is being unbiased during the whole thing.
Sure, I bet.
I'll give a recommendation. But like I said, even if they don't want my recommendation, the nice thing is it's fine, because we'll go with whoever you want to go with.
Awesome. You do group policies too, or you just stick with individuals?
I'm slowly getting into group, because, there is the Affordable Care Act, which is the private health insurance for business owners. It's based off of income. So prior to COVID, tax credits on health insurance, which basically reduced your premium that you paid, was only available for people that had 400% poverty level or lower. So basically like $49,000 for a family of 2. If you made $50,000, you got no tax credit and you paid a whole bunch of money.
Right. Yeah. It was expensive. Expensive if you weren't getting tax credits. Yeah.
Yeah. Just for example, 2 64-year-olds, a couple with no tax credits, $3,200 a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you made 50 grand, you got no tax credit. After COVID, they changed it to you are only allowed to pay a certain percentage of your income. So I think it's like 8.4% of your income. So that allowed a way higher income bracket for tax breaks. And there's still people out there that are paying full price because they think they don't qualify for a tax credit. But they are starting to repeal a lot of this stuff. I don't know if it'll go through or not. So I have slowly been getting into group a little bit as well.
And they've changed some of those rules too with that act, because it used to be if you have a husband or wife, if one of them was offered health insurance through their work, if it was considered affordable, even though the family side was
not really affordable. The individual side may have been classified as affordable, but once you delve into the family, it really wasn't. But I think they changed that recently to where there's more leeway there, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the trickiest line
Mhm.
too, and it's tough because when I have to let people know, I tell them everything. I tell them the good, the bad, the ugly, but I also tell them that like, hey, you have to come up with this decision. Whether I'll give you the information, and you have to confirm with your employer because like the affordability thing. Typically, every employer, and I think they might even get fined if they don't offer affordable health insurance over
Right.
so many employees. So the employee is typically right under that affordable line.
Yeah.
So they're just barely
Just
affordable. The
Uh-huh.
horrible part about it is like if the health insurance is horrible, it's still affordable.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they don't get a tax credit and they're stuck with horrible health insurance.
Right.
That's the
Exactly.
tough part. So then they go off household income as well. And then it gets confusing because they go off the individual rate of the lowest plan offered. And then there's a family rate off the lowest plan offered. The individual rate, typically an employer will pay 75% of the employee's
Mhm.
health insurance. Typically the employee is affordable, but then the family rate, depending on where you work, is unaffordable
Yeah,
because
yeah, because it
I
can
don't think
be
they have
they
to
can pay
contribute
full freight
anything.
for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the employee may pay full freight for that additional for the family.
It's
Absolutely.
typically 25 to 50%. If you
Mhm.
work for a good employer, they'll cover 50% of the family.
Mhm.
Most employers cover 25%. So then it gets weird because then the employee has affordable health insurance. But then with this new family glitch thing that went into play, the rest of the family could qualify for a marketplace plan
Right.
with a tax credit.
Mm.
That's why I enjoy doing what I do because I'll tell somebody, hey, this is not good. Like, even if you want to go ahead with this, you're going to pay big time when you go to do your taxes. The problem is people sign up for these things on the phone and no one's telling them that.
Yeah, they
No
look at
one's
that like,
asking,
"Oh, that's
even
good.
if
Let's roll through it." And
they
then
won't even ask if you have affordable health insurance. And even if it's someone on the line, whether it's Cobra or they have other options, and my options like borderline, I'll suggest that, hey, do some other route,
Mhm.
just to be safe. Because, like I said, there's a huge clawback. If you're found that you have affordable health insurance and you take out a plan from the marketplace with a tax credit, you have to pay all of it back.
Yeah. And it'd be a lot of money too. I mean, it
Yeah.
typically ends up being a good chunk of change.
Yeah, it could be like $10,000, $20,000.
Absolutely. So, you've been in business for a while now, since what, 2020 you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what strategies have you used to grow your business over the last 5 years?
So the nice thing is I learned the door to door approach. So I learned, like to go out there and hustle and just make it and just keep going until you make it. I didn't want to do that this time around. I did, trust me. But I was like, well, work smarter, not harder, right? So, I mean, in order to pay my bills, yes, I still had to go knock on
Yeah, still
doors,
gotta grind,
but
yeah.
I made the decision that I'm not going to do that forever. So, these seminars I implemented, the biggest thing that grew my business was connecting with other businesses. And I I don't know. I just have a natural instinct for like referral business and just the understanding that, hey, I'm not even just going out and growing my business. When I was first starting, like the first year or two, I was looking for opportunities for me, but I was looking for opportunities for every single person that I knew as well.
Mhm.
Because I knew the more people that I could refer to these different businesses, I'm going to get it right
Oh, yeah,
back
it'll
eventually.
come back to you, no doubt about it.
And so that really changed a lot because I was referring out a client every time basically I got a client. And then so that made it to the point where I have quite a few trusted referral partners and it's cool because I get to help grow their business essentially and I trust them just as much as I trust myself.
Yeah. That's connecting with other businesses. What associations, groups, things like that are you involved with?
Currently, I do a lot with Senior Services and AgeLink, which are two organizations here in town that do wonderful things for
Mhm.
seniors. They offer free services, free education. So I do a lot with them. And then we are in the land of Lincoln
Absolutely.
together. And then prior to the land of Lincoln, I was in what's called, I give a shout out, Capital Area Networkers.
Mhm.
It's a smaller group, but that's really what caused me to go outside of my box of comfortability because even back when I started in 2020, what would I have been, 26? I was still a very young kid. And to
Mhm.
get in a room full of established business people at 26 and have to explain and talk about stuff that you really don't know
Right.
yet,
Right.
that was a real big learning curve. And I gained so much value from just that little group. So then when Jeff rolled around with the Land of Lincoln and I saw what he was trying to do, I was all in.
Yeah, and it's been great. So
Yeah.
a lot of great conversation, a lot of great networking. The last, I guess we're in what 4 months in now or so, something
Right.
like that.
I like to spend time with my family too, and I cherish every single bit of time I get with my family because I work so much on my business. So when something so intentional like this group that we're in comes around, it's a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. What the age link? What do they do?
Yeah, so they offer all kinds of services. They do lunch and learns for different organizations. They do a lot of free education for seniors. They offer quite a few grants and foundations. So they have a foundation for like hearing aids, for instance. If you need hearing aids, which is a huge problem, hearing aids are expensive. They have a foundation that you can get up to $500 or $1,000 towards hearing aids. They basically just help people that are struggling get the education and the needs.
So how do you feel like you elevate your clients?
Yeah. So I take pride in the way I go about things by just basically giving a straight educational approach and let them know that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they do. And even if I tell them, even if they want to come to me and they find someone else that's a better fit or whatnot, is no worries. What I do is I just let people know there's so much confusion when it comes to this Medicare stuff. And it's every day. It's between everybody. It's between the government, it's between the hospitals, it's between the doctors, it's between the insurance companies. No one knows the right information.
Mhm.
Like, if I have to get on the phone and set things straight with the hospital or the billing department or the doctor or wherever, the nursing home is a huge one. I do it. And it's not because I have to, I don't have to, but I care. And these people this is what they've worked so hard for their whole life to get
Mhm.
to a point where they don't have to worry, right? And they just get taken advantage of. And it's unfortunate. That there's bad actors, and it causes more regulation for me.
Oh, I
And
bet. Yeah, I
that's
bet.
tough because I'm a good actor. Like now, if we talk about Medicare on the phone, I have to record the call. I have to save it for 10 years.
Oh, 10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
It's because these call centers is why they implemented these, but the call centers aren't getting in trouble still.
Mhm.
So
So it's just more work on the people that are doing it the right way.
yeah, it's
Just additional
regulation.
regulations on it.
Correct. Correct. And they keep implementing more and more and more. And like eventually it would be nice to be a voice for seniors. Like there's different regulations that go through, like this last one that went through. They capped all medication costs at $2,000. So a senior on Medicare cannot pay more than $2,000 for medication now, which is awesome because prior to that, there's medications for $27,000 a month.
Yeah, yeah. I know a couple people that are on some of those really
Yeah.
high dollar ones. Yeah.
And you're talking about people that are on fixed incomes. A
Mhm.
lot of them are on Social Security. So the cap was wonderful. What they didn't really think about is what it's going to do to the premiums. So now a person only pays $2,000 out of pocket, but maybe they have $1,000 deductible instead of a $500 deductible. And maybe nothing's covered until 2000's met now.
Right. Mhm.
So it helped out the people that are taking a lot of medications, but unfortunately, people that were not taking that many, and there's more that aren't taking that many than there are that they don't realize what it's going to do to the premiums. So it'd be nice to be a voice for some of these people.
No, that's awesome that you're the trusted advocate and education outlet for them. So that's cool. Now, some of that same issue, I think, is what happened with Affordable Care Act too, right? Decided to put everything in there is covered. This is covered. That is covered. Everything, this whole gigantic thing is covered, and then realized, well, that's going to increase premiums a lot.
Yeah, and that's the problem they're running into is the pre-existing conditions.
Mhm.
Because what happens is you have the bad actors that there's an enrollment period for this health insurance stuff. It's from November 1st through January 15th. There's certain situations that you can enroll midway through the year.
Mm-hmm.
During COVID and up until like a couple months ago, they did not verify any of these special circumstances. So you had bad actors that were putting people on plans that shouldn't have been, and they were getting surgery next month. And there's no pre-existing, so that the insurance company paid the full surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to prevent people from taking out insurance just until the fact that they need it.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, just not have it for the whole, and then you need it, and I'll go buy some, and then there we go.
We're covered. And then they don't even have to pay the premium anymore
Right.
if they didn't want to. Like,
Right.
so like Health Alliance is a big one. They're going away after this year. So January 1 of 2026, they're withdrawing all of their health insurance products, Medicare, health insurance, individual, group. If no one will have Health Alliance in 2026.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was just throwing that
yeah.
out there. And then Aetna too, on an individual basis. So
Mhm.
Aetna will stop group policies, but on healthcare.gov, Affordable Care Act, Aetna is withdrawing completely. I think they have like 2 million members. It's not fun for anybody because Aetna just came into Sangamon County a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. And it was a really good plan. So a lot of people went with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, luckily, the people that are my clients are going to have me to go figure this out for
help
them.
them
But
through the situation, but
how many people have Health Alliance or that have Aetna that don't do business with me that are going to maybe not figure it out at all?
right.
And they're going to get into January with figure out that their health insurance doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, we've talked a lot about the professional side. Let's dig into the personal side a little bit. What are some things you do to elevate your life personally?
The biggest thing is I just try to stay positive, motivated. I try to be faith oriented. I didn't grow up in a super, religious household, but basically after I stopped drinking in 2018, it made me face a lot of things that, I didn't want to face for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got past that point, I just made a focus on every single day I get a little bit better,
I love it.
and it's crazy because I still do it to this day. And it's easy to get complacent and just kind of go with the flow and stuff. And restarting too also made me appreciate the process along the way. Because the first time around, I was just trying to make it. And once I made it, I was celebrating. This time, the good and the bad, I got to appreciate the process. And so I just really try to be the best person that I can. I try to be a positive influence, and I really want to make, an impact on anybody and everybody's life, especially, like young entrepreneurs, because it's especially having success at such an early age. I wish I would have done it differently. If I would have known, hey, if you were smart about this, you might not have to ever work again,
Right.
at the age of 35. So I love anytime I find a young professional, and even if they're just out having fun and having a good time, I just tell them like, hey, work your butt off, get your stuff together, and you can have all the fun you want,
I love it. So you're out educating a lot of people, but are you like the continuous improvement type where you do some professional development for yourself?
Yeah.
Either, personally or professionally, book reader,
Yeah.
podcast, what you like?
I mean, yeah. And you have to. As a business owner, everybody thinks being a business owner is so nice and so free, and you got the luxury of doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But that's to the other side is you're your boss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really self-motivated. So I'm huge on quotes is what I am huge on. I used to listen to a lot of YouTube in the car. So one thing that I found was helpful is instead of listening to music, instead of listening to whatever the case may be, the radio on these 30-minute drives or 20-minute drives, I was just filling myself with education, or motivation, because not every day you wake up and you just want to go dominate the world. People come up to me a lot and say they appreciate the fact that I'm so motivated and how do you do this and that. It's a choice. I wake up and it's not, I don't want to be motivated. I don't want to have to wake up ready to, go accomplish the day, but doing so makes the day so much better. I realize there's a lot of negative in the world, especially with social media and all kinds of different things. I really enjoy being that motivational voice. That's also someone you can relate to.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Sounds like you've built some discipline behind that too, because that's what I always say. If you have disciplined approaches to what you're doing, you're going to get up every day and you're going to follow that discipline, and you don't necessarily have to be pumped up all the time, to do it. But to have that discipline, you're going to go get what you need done.
Yeah, and even like the 1% better every day. Because you don't have to go out and change your life overnight. Just a little bit better every day. And if you think that way, it makes it so easy to want to wake up and just do something a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not go out and market more or gain more clients, but take a look at yourself. you do a lot of good things. Be honest with yourself. Like, what are the things that you're not happy with that you wish you could change? It's not going to change overnight because it took 20, 30 years to, accumulate.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'm just working towards that goal, and having kids, makes a big difference. Wanting to be a positive influence, not having my kids learn the same mistakes that I did on my own. That's huge.
Mhm.
My kids are really the reason. Yeah, it makes it easy.
They're your why, right, brother?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what
exactly.
they are. Yeah, and same for me. I've got 2 daughters, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and having a daughter changed things. So my son, he's 12, my daughter's 6. Having the daughter changed me a whole bunch for the better,
Mm.
just to be more sensitive. And it's just crazy. You can never stop self-improving. Like, perfect is not a thing. And you can be okay. And that's what I tell like my agents and stuff. Like, you don't have to be like me. But if this is what you want, be honest with yourself, and be honest of what it's going to take and what you're going to have to give up in order to get there. And if you
Mhm.
don't want to get there, that's fine. But I'm going to hold you accountable.
Absolutely. How many agents you have?
I have 11 agents.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many did you start with?
One.
Just you?
I brought, yeah,
Or
yeah.
just
I
you
brought
plus
a buddy.
one?
I brought a buddy with me. Yeah, and we just grew it from there. I didn't grow it for a couple years because I also wanted to get a good foundation for myself. And how am I supposed to teach somebody something that I don't necessarily know? So I got all my marketing, my lead generation, the sales process, the scripts, the automations, all in order before I made that transition to start growing.
So what's next? What's the next step? Any big goals for the Houston agency now?
Just keep moving forward. My wife, she's in nursing school, so she'll graduate at the end of this year, and then she'll go into CRNA school. So depending on where she applies to, might relocate. I don't know.
Has she been in healthcare this whole time, or is this a career change for her?
No. So she's been, she got certified as a certified technician.
Mhm.
And she did that for a little bit. It was pretty high stress. I'm fine with her not working too. So at the end of the day, it just wasn't worth the stress and the money. So that's when she went into the College of Nursing. She's worked on and off at St. John's and Memorial for past 5 years or so.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so what are some things you think we could do as a community to elevate all of us living here, business wise, personal wise, elevate the community on the whole?
Yeah. I just think community involvement, there's different pockets of community involvement, but I think as a whole, and not just business owners, everybody as a whole, if we could get more behind everybody and support and root for everybody, um, I would really like to see Springfield grow to its potential.
Absolutely. No, I think I've said it on here a bunch of times. I feel like we're on the precipice of some good explosive growth, but we all have to work together to be able to get there.
Yeah, and it's awesome seeing all these young entrepreneurs too. It's funny because I'm getting older, but
Because start
back-
looking back on them, turning into the older guy in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I was talking to Jack the other day, and I told him I'm 31, and he's like, "Oh man, really?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, I mean, I didn't know you were 18 either." But
Right. Exactly.
but it's awesome because like back when I started in the door-to-door sales, I was in control of my own destiny there, but there wasn't too many other young professionals at all that were in business, and I felt like an outcast. So it's awesome to see all these young guys.
It's cool. And I mean, I've said it before on here, it feels like a resurgence of young entrepreneurs coming in.
Yeah, and that's what we need, because for the longest time, Springfield is known for state employees because I deal with them on the Medicare side of things. It's about half of the people I run
Sure,
into.
Sure.
But it's really, really nice to see these young entrepreneurs because, like, in today's day and age, it's not hard. It's really not hard to be successful in business
Mm-hmm.
because of, you just have to do the things that everybody else isn't doing. Don't take the shortcuts, care. It's really not hard. If you just take care of your people and you're genuine
Mm-hmm.
and you do what you say you're going to do and you work hard for long enough, you're going to be successful. And I think, that's maybe one positive side of social media, is people branching out and seeing that there's different opportunities.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, you'd ask your mom or dad, like, "Hey, should I go into business?" And they're going to say no. And it's like, "Okay, I'll stay at my job."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I love what you said a second ago. Do what other people won't do. I mean, that's the thing with 10X that we talk about a lot is do those things that other people aren't doing. Set yourself apart, right? Do the things that those people hate. That's going to give you that that opportunity. That's where some of those opportunities lie.
Yeah, and you can build a business just off that. You
Mhm.
can take someone else's business, and it's not that they're doing it wrong. It's just analyze it and see what you would do differently. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Holden, we've had a lot of great takeaways today. Why don't you give us one more from your personal side, one more from your professional side to help folks elevate their life or business?
Yeah. So on the professional side, go out and be uncomfortable, meet as many people as you can, and just basically do the things that everybody else isn't doing. Go the extra mile. It'll be worth it. It might not be fun right now, but in the end, I promise you, it'll be worth it. I would just say, just be a good person. Life is too short to not be. Just show up, be a good person, and just try to be better.
No doubt about it. Well, Holden, if somebody's wanting to do some business with you, want to get some insurance or whatever they need from you, where would they go?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's www.thehoustoninsuranceagency.com. You can call me. My office number is 217-679-1299. We have an office off Chatham Road. So we're located at 400 Chatham Road, Suite 200, right here in Springfield.
Well, Holden, appreciate you spending the afternoon with me.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun.
It was a blast.
Yeah. Well, we're going to let Holden get back to elevating Springfield, but for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
How about Holden? Phenomenal stuff, right? A lot of great takeaways for y'all, you business owners out there. So many different nuggets you could take and apply today and start seeing those actionable strategies turn into growth for you. Hey, let's look at it from a 10X lens for just a few minutes. Hey, one of the things that he talked about early on with his door-to-door sales techniques was about the scripts that he used and how important they were in the sales process and how important they are really in any sales process. So if you're out there selling a product or service, what do your scripts look like? Are they dialed in? Are they exactly what they need to be? Are they working? Here's the thing with scripts. They give you clarity, they give you consistency, and they give you a path forward. They allow you to be consistent with your delivery, and you're not always thinking about, hey, what comes next? You get those scripts down and it will help you out in that sales process. So, hey, if you want some help with sales scripts, we can certainly help you out with that over at Big Dog Business Coaching. Just give me a shout and we'll be able to see what we can do to take care of you there. Another thing that Holden talked about was service, educating, right? Service through education. He does those workshops, those seminars out at the public libraries. Just a phenomenal way to bring value to the customers. He's not asking for anything in return on those. Of course, he's going to get some customers out of it. It is a great lead gen tool, but what he's really doing, the purpose behind it, the why, is to educate folks on what is out there and what kind of opportunities and solutions are available to them. Because like he said, most people just don't know all the details surrounding Medicare and health insurance, and they need somebody to just simply educate them on what's available, what's the good, what's the bad. He said there's so many scams, so much fraud out there in that particular industry with call centers just signing people up and not really getting correct information in there and people getting hit with large tax bills after the fact. So he is really just trying to educate the consumer, right? Educate potential clients on the process, on the products, so they can make an informed decision on what they need now and in the future. So how can you take that into your business? Are you educating your clients? What kind of value are you providing? Like I said, he's providing that value with nothing in return, with no expectation of anything in return. So what can you do in your business or in your life for that matter, where you are providing value to folks without expecting something in return? We all know that
when you do that, when you provide value, when you give, as we call it in the 10X world, it comes back to you tenfold. So, where can you serve through education? Where can you serve through giving, giving, giving? Mm. One of the other things he mentioned was when he was managing teams about the best way to essentially motivate people is what he was getting at there is finding their why. In the 10X world, we're always talking about what's your purpose, what's your why, because your why, your purpose is what's going to motivate you to go through all the difficult stuff. It's going to motivate you to make those extra calls. It's going to motivate you to get up early and get your day started and do all those things, all those little things, all those difficult things that make your business work, that make your business grow, right? If your why is not strong enough, if your purpose is not strong enough, there's no way you're going to reach those 10X goals, those 10X targets. So that why has to be strong and powerful. And he found that if he could figure out and get to know what his employees' whys were, he could better motivate them and essentially be a better manager for them, right? He understood that not everybody's why is the same thing, but if you can understand what their why is, you can better relate to them, better motivate them, and better align them with the company's why. So, how are you doing that in your business right now? Are you integrating your employees' whys into the company's whys? One of the ways we do that in our coaching and training company is we coach companies on how to go through personal and professional and financial goals with their employees and how that lines up with the company's goals and vision and mission and the whole nine, right? Because when an employee is aligned, when their goals are aligned with the company's goals, significant growth can happen and the employee feels more fulfilled and the employee feels like they are part of something bigger. So, how are you doing that in your company right now? Great stuff from Holden today. And we are looking to, right after the break, start up a brand new segment that I'm super excited about. It's the Wellness Upgrade. And welcome back, Dr. Sammy. Be right back. Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agents, here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6343. All right, and we are back. Hey, we've got a new segment starting today called the Wellness Upgrade. My guest, Dr. Samantha Wagner, you may remember her from a couple of months ago when she did a full episode with me. Phenomenal stuff. Excited to have her with me today and for all of these segments. So, Dr. Sammy, welcome back, and how you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, remind everybody about your practice, about what you guys do before we get into the topic of the day here.
Absolutely. Yep. We have a chiropractic office in Springfield, and we're a family-based wellness office, and we treat all kinds and all ages.
All right. So, what we're going to talk about today, sleep. Very important to everybody. And I know me, when I try to do like the biohacking stuff, that's one of the main things of making sure you're getting proper sleep. So I know a lot of people struggle with getting enough sleep, getting the right kind of sleep, quantity, quality, the whole nine. So let's talk a little bit about some things people can do to improve their sleep and how important that is.
Definitely. So I think that's probably one of the most common talked about things besides pain when people come into the office, when they're asking questions about how they can get better and heal faster. Sleep is a big one because the way that the world has gone, we have so much technology now, and we have all these different things, and we have these busy lifestyles, and we have children that are in sports, and we're running constantly. And so most people are not getting the proper amount of sleep. And if they are trying to get the right amount of sleep, they're usually not going about it the right way either. And so it's not the same thing for everybody, of course, but we always encourage people to try to get 8 hours of sleep at night. Now, for some people, it might look a little more like 6 hours. Some people know they thrive on 10 to 12. It's not reasonable for most people with most lifestyles to
10
do
to
that.
12. Wow. Yeah.
That would be nice. It's just not reasonable. But I think if somebody can strive for 8 solid hours of sleep at night, that's important. The other problem is we're not winding down properly. And so we're not really getting that good sleep at nighttime either. So working on that routine to wind yourself down so that you can get good sleep throughout the night where you're not waking up multiple times. I know with kids and I know with certain health issues, we have to get up in the middle of the night, but trying to get that sleep at night, setting up your room properly, that kind of stuff is important.
Yeah. So, what happens to the body when you're not getting enough sleep? What issues does that cause in people?
Most of our healing is done while we're sleeping. And so a lot of times when people are trying to get well or they're trying to heal, but they're not giving their body the proper time to sleep. So there's all sorts of hormones and all sorts of things that are released while we are sleeping. But if you're not getting those hours of sleep, those restful hours of sleep, you're not giving yourself adequate time to heal. So not only are you restless, anxious, irritable, but you also are not allowing the body to heal properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the restless part, I think a lot of people probably struggle with that. I mean, sometimes I get that where my mind just starts racing and thinking about all the things I need to do, and it's hard to get to sleep.
I'm notorious for that too. And one thing that I've done to help with some of that is I've put a notebook next to my bed and I do a brain dump when I go to sleep. So a lot of times I really try to squeeze in a lot of things within a day. And sometimes that makes me anxious or I'm nervous I'm going to forget. And it's nice during the day because you can have your phone on you and you can ask it to set reminders, remind me to do this at this time, at this date. But at nighttime, I really don't want people on their phones. If you can have a notebook or something, a recording, do a brain dump before you go to sleep. And then if you do, for some reason, wake up in the middle of the night, oh my gosh, what about this? Or I'm nervous about this, or I want information on this, then you can write all of that down so that it is off of your mind. And then you can pick up when you are awake and take care of that. So it's not keeping you up through the night.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the notebook thing because I find myself grabbing my phone to do that because I do that and I'll think of something. Oh, I need to remind myself of that. Oh, I need to remind myself of that. And I typically will grab my phone because it's close enough to, and I'll put it on there and off we go. But I think the notebook would be a lot better thing. So talk to us a little bit more about that. How having that technology and that phone, all those screens at that time, that close to bed, how that affects your sleep.
Definitely. So most people, and we're all guilty of it, but the thing that's amazing about technology is, we all use it. You don't really know anybody that doesn't utilize that, but technology has come a long way. So, everybody hears that like token blue light's so bad for you. Blue light really is bad for you certain times of day. So I really don't want you getting any blue light 2 hours before bedtime. So that's a good idea to start winding down. Going back to how technology has really advanced though, on your iPhone, whatever phone you have, you can set your blue light settings. And so make sure that on your phone it's set. I don't ever have mine on, but make sure it's set that at least after 6 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever time it is for you, that blue light is not going to be on. So then if you do prefer to use your phone or whatever it is, even though that can advance some excitement in your brain and get you thinking, if you just go straight to the notes tab and your blue light's off, it's not going to affect this release of melatonin.
Sure. I know we've heard the blue light, but why is it? Dig a little deeper into maybe why that blue light is bad for you at that time.
So it's not always bad for you. It's one of those things that when you're trying to wind down, your body is going through certain stages before it goes to sleep. And so 2 hours before bedtime is important because that's when you're trying to calm everything down. That's when you need to kind of lower the lighting in your house. A lot of smart TVs now too, you can turn the blue light off on those. So some people are like, I just want to watch my shows. I just want to lay with my husband, whatever it is, and relax. That's fine. But most of the TVs now, you can turn the blue light off of them too. So blue light is something that doesn't allow proper melatonin release. It delays that release. And that's what we need when we're trying to calm down to go to bed so that it can help us get into those stages of sleep. A lot of people will take exogenous melatonin, a supplement, a synthetic form of melatonin. And it might work the first couple of nights, and then they notice themselves taking more melatonin and more melatonin. And then they're like, well, I used to take melatonin, but now it doesn't really work for me. The thing I don't love about that, I don't mind it every once in a while if we're anxious or if we're stressed, if we're going through things. But if you're constantly taking an external source of melatonin, your body stops creating it because it's always getting that from another source. So then your body triggers like, I don't really need to make melatonin anymore. And that's when we run into the problem. And that's when people are trying to take more and more. And then we get into sleeping aids or Benadryl or whatever it is.
Sure.
And so if we eliminate some of that light from our phone or from technology, it can properly release melatonin. So then it can trigger our brain. It's time to go to bed.
Okay. So I know some of the podcasts I listen to, some of them are really into the different spectrums of light and everything. Have you looked at the home systems where you can turn on the different wavelengths of light in your house and things like that?
So I would consider myself intense about certain things. I'm not quite that intense when it comes to it. I don't ever have blue light on my phone. All the blue lights turned off on all of our TVs. But it is interesting how that's going back to the advancements in technology. You know, you can tell a system in your house and it will slowly start to turn off all those different wavelengths around. So that's kind of nice. And if you're somebody that's always struggled with insomnia, that's probably not a bad idea for you. I'm just not quite that intense yet. I'm a super sleeper, so I don't go quite that far yet.
There you go. No, I listen to Ben Greenfield every now and again on his podcast, and he talks about the house that he just built has all these built-in biohacking tools, and one of those is the lighting that he uses in his house, to where at different times of day it's a different wavelength and all that based on what they're doing. So
there's something to be said about that for sure.
So a lot of people hear about circadian rhythm. Hey, this is going to mess up your circadian rhythm and all that. So let's delve into that a little bit. What is a circadian rhythm and why is it important?
Definitely. So one thing that I think is really cool about that is it's kind of telling your body when it's time to wake up, when it's time to wind down. And a lot of people, because of how life has evolved, we wake up in the morning and we have our phone next to our bed and we check our phone. So we're getting not great light from our phone or not great interactions, or we're seeing news or we're seeing things. So we're starting out with technology from our phone. And then most people usually go into their bathroom and then you're turning on the light and you're getting fake light from your bathroom. And then you're rushing to get ready and you're probably sleepy. So you're taking some form of caffeine, and then you get into your car and then you drive to work, and then you're usually, most people, inside of a building, and there's not a ton of that natural sunlight. There's not a ton of that time to wake up, get your body moving, get sunlight, and get something in your body food-wise that's good for you. So we're getting all of these fake synthetic things in the morning, and then we don't understand why we're kind of messed up with our sleep cycle. We're exhausted all day and then we're wired all night long. But it's just because that's kind of backwards. So try every single morning when you get up, wait to touch your phone, which we can talk about alarms too, because that's something that's really funny to me. But obviously shut your alarm off or whatever it is that you have. Try to step outside. It's hard for us because we live in the Midwest. We don't have a lot of sunny days, but getting outside, even if you don't see the sun, getting some fresh air, even if it's 5-10 minutes, that's really all you need. Step outside, do that, get something in your protein, preferably. I love to tell people, try to do the 30-30-30. So within the first 30 minutes, you're getting 30 grams of protein and you're doing 30 minutes of some type of activity. So when you get outside, you can get your fresh air, get your sunlight, go for a quick walk or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a big workout, but that way it gets your body moving and it signals to your brain it's time to wake up. It's time to get going.
I love that. And I'm pretty close to that, I guess. I get the 30 grams of protein, definitely. My workout's probably closer to 45 minutes after I wake up. So I'm a little late on that.
That's
but
all right.
Maybe I can move that up a little bit.
Yeah.
I've heard that before about the walking, like first thing, just a kind of a light to get you going.
And that's good for your body too, and for your spine. You're not moving all night long, so your joints aren't getting motion, and then you're not getting blood flow to your muscles. So just getting up and not doing something intense, because we need that calm, slow morning wake up. You don't want to hit the ground running with a stressful morning from the start.
Along those same lines, when you're getting up, I've heard before, maybe delay when you have your coffee, if you're a coffee person.
Definitely.
Is that something you think about?
Definitely. Most people wake up, get coffee on an empty stomach. It's horrible for you for so many different reasons. But it also is going to spike your cortisol, which then screws up your cortisol throughout the entire day. So I try to tell people to delay coffee 60 to 90 minutes after they wake up. But also please don't put it on an empty stomach. It can really mess with your gut bacteria, and your gut controls everything in your brain. So a lot of people have those thoughts of doom in the morning, or they're like anxious or stressed. They have a big day, and then they're putting this caffeine on top of it that's spiking cortisol, which is a stress hormone. We run out of it early. And so it's just a cyclical bad topic that if you just delay that a little bit, get a little substance in you, get moving, get some sunlight, and then have it, it's so much better. I'm not saying I don't want people to drink caffeine and drink coffee, but it's not all bad for you. I just don't want it right when you wake up on an empty stomach.
No, completely agree. And that's one thing I've implemented is waiting at least an hour. And I've had my breakfast. I've had the protein. That's not on an empty stomach or anything like that. So you mentioned cortisol a second ago. I think a lot of people say cortisol and have heard cortisol. They don't really know what it is.
Yeah, it's very trendy right now too.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that.
It's trendy for a reason, because it is so important and it is popular. And it's so much deeper than what we can cover in a short amount of time. But the quick explanation, cortisol is this stress steroid hormone, and it fluctuates in everybody throughout the day and depending on the person and their lifestyle. So when you first wake up in the morning, your cortisol is the highest. You get this spike in cortisol, which is what we want, because not all stress is bad. Stress hormone in general is important. It just depends on how we use it. When you have that stress hormone in the morning and then you drink coffee and then you're going with all these synthetic things, your cortisol spikes, and then it's already depleting too quickly. Then throughout the day, that's when you hear that 2 p.m. crash. That's when that comes around, because we've already used up all of that good cortisol in the morning, and then we're crashing. So then we're drinking coffee. So then we're trying to spike it. At that point, we don't have any cortisol left to spike it. And so then we have that anxious, jittery, stressed out, irritable type of caffeine high, rather than that normal cortisol ride throughout the day.
Well, yeah, I think that'll be a topic for a full segment one day. I think we'll do that.
Definitely.
So a few minutes ago, you talked about melatonin being not something you want to use long term. What is some supplementation that folks could look at for sleep?
Again, we've talked about this before, but the magnesium glycinate is really a big one. And the thing with magnesium, there's so many different kinds, and there's so many different ways of getting supplements. And it's important to take it 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. You don't just want to lay down and take it and then, lay there for 10 minutes. Why isn't it working? It needs to be part of that wind down routine that we were talking about. So taking mag glycinate like 1 to 2 hours before, allowing it to calm the overall nervous system, because it's not making you sleepy. It's just regulating the nervous system, getting you calm, so that then when you are ready for bed, when you are darkening everything around you and you are winding down, then it can help kick in. Melatonin, I'm not totally against. Again, it's used improperly and just a little too much and not right. One thing that I do talk to people a lot about is you talk to people about how they take Benadryl when they go to sleep, or they try to, I'm going to give my kid Benadryl tonight to get them to sleep. That is a bad practice to get into for a lot of different reasons. If you dive deep on Benadryl and taking it for long periods of time every single night, or like you just take it to wind down to go to bed, it's linked to a lot of different dementia studies and Alzheimer's studies and stuff. So, and it also, the little pink tab is pink because it's artificially dyed.
And we've talked about that.
Terrible for you. So if you're adding this artificial thing into your system that is also altering your brain chemistry, it's just not a good idea. And then to do that every single night for several years is just really going to affect you over time. So trying to find different practices and supplementation during the day. Ashwagandha is a big one that calms people down. It's good for menopausal women. It's good for anxious people. It's good for PCOS people. So there's a lot of other alternatives out there that we can do rather than just taking Benadryl every single night.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dig a little deeper into that wind down routine. What are some things you would recommend there?
It's important to really focus on breath work when you're going to bed. There's a routine that we teach often with diaphragmatic breathing. So really breathing from the lower belly instead of chest breathers, because most people go through their day, they're anxious, they're stressed, they're busy, and they breathe from up here, but we really need to be breathing from down here. So the breath work is 4, 7, 8. So you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and then you exhale for 8. So that process can also downregulate the nervous system so that it helps you get tired. Some people will relax the muscles, they'll start at the top of their head and work all the way down. 4, 7, 8 has really shown to help people do that though.
So the breathe in for 4 seconds. So you actually actually breathe in for a full 4 seconds, count the whole 4. Okay.
Gotcha. And then hold it for 7 seconds and then breathe all the way out for 8 seconds.
Okay.
I know a lot of people wake up in the middle of the night. Is there anything
Mhm.
they can do to help with that?
Yeah, I always hear a lot of times they fall asleep fine, but then they get up at 3 a.m. And we've talked about a lot of different reasons why that happens, but it's also usually blood sugar dysregulation. And so people who are chronically waking up in the middle of the night and then can't fall back asleep, it's their body's way of telling them that they need something that they're lacking. And so the patients that do that, we tell them to try to heavy load the protein before they go to bed. Now, I don't want you eating right when you're getting ready to go lie down in bed. An hour or two before you go to bed, try to get 20 to 30 grams of protein so that that can calm that blood sugar down and you're not getting this spike. With a lot of people go to bed and they snack, or they have like a nighttime snack before they go to bed and it's usually something sugary. Try to hit something more like protein for that so that it's not waking you up at 3 a.m.
Gotcha. Benefits of good sleep are enormous, right? But how do people, I guess, aside from, yeah, I feel awake and I feel good, are there any like markers that people could use to say I'm getting good sleep?
There's a lot of different ways to measure good sleep. You can always go off of how you feel, obviously. I know that's an obvious one, but there are a lot of trackers now for sleep. A big one that I talk about often is the Aura Ring. I've had one for a couple of years now, and that is one of the biggest things I use it for is sleep. So there's 4 stages of sleep, right? Stage 1, right when you start to kind of just lay down and you're kind of drifting off. And then stage 2 is where you're not in deep sleep yet, but you're in between that light and deep sleep. Stage 3 is where we get those good delta waves, that deep sleep. And then stage 4 is REM sleep, which is so important. Most people should be in each stage like 90 to 120 minutes, and then you cycle through those throughout the night. Obviously, everybody's different. Everybody stays in different cycles more than others. We don't get as much deep and REM, obviously, because of life stress, environmental factors. But it is nice to have some sort of way to track it. But it is also nice throughout the day if you're getting the 2 p.m. crash, or if you're feeling irritable, if you're constantly fatigued, if you have brain fog, if you have all of these things, you're probably not getting good sleep at night.
Absolutely. We've talked about a lot of good things. How about we give the audience 2 things that, hey, these are your absolute, I do these all the time for good sleep. And then 2, hey, do not do these at all if you if you want good sleep. Maybe they're trying to get started with this, and we talked about a lot of things, but
It can be overwhelming. The first thing don't do at all is don't get on your phone at nighttime. And if you are on your phone, make sure the blue light's off. That's the big one that we've talked about. And the next thing is try not to sit there and not do anything proactively about all these things on your mind that you have to do the next day. So do that brain dump when you do go to bed. So no phone or no blue light, and write and journal your things before bed. And then 2 things that I absolutely do, and these are kind of random. We've talked about a lot of other things too. One thing that we didn't really talk about is caffeine/water consumption throughout the day. Try to really heavy load the front of your day. In the morning, I drink so much water, I'm floating away. But then usually after 4 p.m., I really taper off. I don't want my bladder to be waking me up throughout the night. So that's a big one. And then no caffeine after 2 p.m., because I don't want that portion of your brain to be awake like it needs to be during, the main part of the day. So caffeine and water, front load that if you're going to. The other thing that's interesting that has really changed the sleep game for me is a Hatch alarm clock. Have you heard of one of those before?
no.
So I know there's multiples now, but I think one of the original ones was the Hatch alarm clock. And it's basically like a larger alarm clock that elicits like a fake sunrise. So it slowly wakes you up. It starts with this orangey light and it plays nature sounds.
Okay.
It's not this alarm. An alarm is called that because it alarms you. Everybody's startled when they wake up.
Right.
It's a stressful start to the day. And so a Hatch alarm clock is really cool because it starts out with some sunrise colors, and then it slowly ends up bright like the sun. So it slowly wakes you up over
Gotcha.
time. It starts 30 minutes early, so it warms you up to waking up instead of just like harming you to wake up.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The caffeine thing you said a second ago, 2 o'clock. That mainly because a 1 cup of coffee, doesn't it take like 6 hours for it to completely
Depends
go?
on
That caffeine,
what you read.
depending-
Yep. I read
so-
anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. But also that can stimulate not only your brain, but also your bladder. And so you want to try to get all of the caffeine out of your system before you're going to go lay down, because that's something that just can constantly wake you up too, not just brain wise, but also to have to get up to go to the bathroom.
Absolutely, yeah. And I've done a genetic test before, and it says that I am a slow digester of caffeine, so it would be even worse for me the later I drink.
coffee.
Yep. And some people are also low volume voiders with their bladder. So if you do have caffeine, it's exciting the fibers in your bladder. So you feel like you always have to go. So instead of waiting to go until it's full, it's telling you to go all the time too. So caffeine is something that accelerates low volume voiders too. So,
Well, great stuff today, Dr. Sammy.
Thank
So
you.
if somebody wants to get in touch with you, come out to the practice, where do they go?
They go to 7012 Kings Mill Court in Springfield, Illinois.
Right.
Wagner Chiropractic Clinic, LLC.com. And we're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Wagner Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you next time on the Wellness Upgrade.
Awesome. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more.
Look, I get it. Mortgages sound boring until you realize you need one, and suddenly you're neck deep in paperwork. Googling terms like escrow and DTI like you're studying for a finance exam you didn't sign up for. I'm Fred Weber at 217 Mortgage. I break it down like a real human, not a robot in a tie. VA loans, first-time homebuyer, refi, I've got you. Local, fast, and yes, I answer my phone. 217 Mortgage, because adulting is hard enough.
Equal Housing Opportunity, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, NMLS number 6606, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Conditions and restrictions apply. This is not a loan commitment or guarantee of any kind. All mortgage loan products are subject to credit and property approval. New American Funding, LLC, all rights reserved. Corporate office 14511, Myford Road, Suite 100, Tustin, California 92780. Phone number 1-800-450-2010, NAF.com.
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, if you want to get caught up on previous episodes, you know what to do. Just head over to your favorite podcast outlet. Search for Elevate Springfield. Should be able to find us. Also, follow us on all of our social channels. You can follow me personally at Robert Ferriell at all of them, or you can check out the Elevate Springfield pages as well. We would certainly appreciate a like, a subscribe over on YouTube. You can find all the clips there as well. Thank you to Holden Houston for joining us today, telling his story. A lot of great stuff. Thank you to Dr. Sammy for stopping by and talking to us all about sleep. Hopefully you'll implement some of that in your life, start getting better sleep tonight. So take what you learned today, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.